Hello everyone. Today our topic is how to group an empty data frame. So that means suppose if you have empty data frame, then how to apply group by. So if you see the syntax group by, so normally inside we'll pass some column. So in this case, we'll see in this video. So how to do group by without passing any column here. So is with no arguments. So that means in group by, inside group by, we are not going to pass any arguments. So it triggers a global aggregation across the entire data frame. So if you're not passing any arguments here, then what it will do, instead of grouping by repeated once, it will do group by on entire data frame. So it is similar to SQL group by class. So it groups the rows of a data frame based on one or more columns and then applies an aggregation function to each group. So common aggregation functions include sum, count, mean, min, and max. So group by always needs an aggregation. So if you want to do aggregation on multiple columns, so then use on top of group by use dot aggregate. The syntax for group by is, so first we need to write a group by. So in this B is capital letter, and inside that we can pass either single column or multiple columns. So example is like DF. DF means our sample data frame dot group by, and inside that we need to pass the column name and dot aggregate. So AGG. So that is the thing I mentioned here for multiple columns. So inside aggregation, we can pass aggregate functions. So aggregate functions like either sum, count, mean, min, and max. So this is about single column. So if you want to do on multiple columns, you can write your multiple column names like this and dot aggregate. So you can write multiple functions also. Like first you can do for sum, then you can do for count, or you can add min and max. So multiple functions you can add. So it groups the data frame by the specified columns so that aggregation can be performed on them. So whatever I mentioned here, these calls. So these calls can be uh, either list, string, or integer, or column. So these are the different objects we can pass inside group. So now we'll see one example. What is empty group by? So in this video, our scenario is empty group by. So df dot group by, and inside that I'm not passing anything. It is empty. And dot, here I'm passing function, aggregate function. So that is max. And inside max, I'm not passing anything, dot show. So if you write code like this, what you will get is it returns a one row data frame with the maximum salary of all employees. So that means in group by, since I'm not passing any column, so what it does is this aggregate function maximum value, it will find on entire data frame. So instead of different groups, it will apply on entire data frame. So first I'm importing this function from SQL.functions import sum I'm importing here. So here my first scenario is grouping an empty data frame. So if the data frame itself has no rows, then group by will return an empty result set that is 0 rows. So in this, I have two scenarios. So first, I am going to discuss about retain the schema. So that means if you perform a group by on data frame that has no rows, that means empty data frame. So what result we will get is the resulting data frame will also be an empty, but will retain the schema. So retain the schema means only column names and data types. it is defined by aggregation. So now we'll see with the example. So what it means. So group by on a data frame that has no rows. So that means, so here I'm creating one sample data frame. So first I'm passing the column names here. So these are all my column names. And here I'm defining schema. So here I'm using struct type, and inside that I have these many struct fields. So this struct field, it defines column name and data type and true or false. So these are all my column names, and this particular schema I'm passing here. So Spark dot create data frame, and inside that, see here, I'm not passing any data here. So instead I'm passing empty list here. So that means my data is empty. So but schema I'm passing here. So schema. So actually this one is not required since we are passing schema here. So if you're not passing schema, then it is applicable. So suppose if you're not using this one, then here schema equal to columns, you can pass it. So either of the method, you can create the data frame. So here what I'm doing, I'm displaying my data frame and I'm printing my schema. So if I display the data frame, see here, since I don't have any data here, that means the data I'm passed as empty list. So that means I don't have any data here. So only I have is column and their respective scheme. That means the data type. So since I used here print schema, so here it printing the my table schema here. So table name and the data type, whether that is true or false. So that is the meaning of empty list here. So due to this empty list, we are not getting any records here. So this is the meaning of empty table. So now what I'm doing, so I'm performing group by on empty data frame. So on this empty data frame, I'm performing group by. So this is my sample data frame, that is this one, empty data frame, and dot group by, and here I am using department. So inside group by, I'm passing this column. So I want to divide into groups based on this department. So, and I'm using aggregate function here. And inside that, what aggregate function I'm passing? Salary. Sum of salary. Sum function I'm passing here. So I want to get the sum of salary. But so here our department is empty. And if you see salary, here also we have empty. So if I try to display this result, so this also will get empty result. So how we are getting this output is, it depends on aggregation. So group by department and aggregation sum of salary alias. So this alias column will get here, and this group by column will get. We'll get only two columns. So that is the meaning of this one. The resulting data frame will also be empty, but will retain the schema defined by the aggregation. So defined by the aggregation means, so instead of getting all the columns based on this aggregation logic, you will get columns here. And this respective, since I use print schema here, I am getting here this one. So my column name, that means this one department, total salary, and their relevant data type, and whether this is true or false. So same thing I written here. So we are not getting any rows here, and schema is preserved even though data is empty. So that means here, if you try to print this print schema, we are getting schema. We are getting schema even though we don't have data. So next scenario is, what is the efficiency tip? So efficiency tip means, since the group by is wide transformation as per Spark theory, white transformation means shuffling will be more. So mainly these cases, like if data is there, fine. So our shuffling and resource, it won't get waste. But since our data frame is empty, but without knowing that we are applying group by functions. So what it doing? It uh, performing the Spark jobs. So it consuming some memory and cache. So to avoid that, what is the efficiency piece? So we have one function that is empty method. Before applying aggregation, so first we need to check whether this particular data frame contains data before running expensive operations like group by. So this particular case, what will happen if you use this method? So first initial itself, it will tell that our data frame is empty. So here what I'm doing, so same data frame I'm taking here. So same data frame, empty data frame I'm creating here. And on top of that, I'm creating two data frames here. So one is empty data frame. This we already discussed that. And one more data frame is with the data. So that means non-empty data frame. So here what I'm doing, I'm passing the data. So 1, 2, 3, total 5 rows I'm passing here. And these are all the column names. And here I'm using Spark dot create data frame. And this data I'm passing here and these columns I'm passing here. And if you try to display this, so this is the data frame with 5 rows. So now I have two sample data frames. One is empty data frame and one more is non-empty data frame. So next, on top of that, what I'm doing, first I'm trying with the group by. So here I'm doing group by department and sum of salary. And if you see here, two data frames I'm using here. One is empty data frame and one more is data. So that means this one, non-empty data frame. So here, if you see the result on empty data frame, even after applying group by and aggregate function, we are getting empty result here. And at the same time, when you apply on this non-empty data frame, same logic like group by on this department column and sum of salary, you will get the result. You will get the result. So here, what I'm trying to do here is this particular case. Here I'm using if else condition like is empty before group by. So group by is expensive shuffle operation. So if data frame is empty, so waste of compute. So is empty avoids unnecessary execution. So here what I'm doing, here I'm using if else condition. So first I'm using is empty to check the first. So here since we have two data frames, so first I'm applying on empty data frame. So in my if condition, I'm writing not. So not what it df underscore empty. So it will check df underscore empty data frame, whether it is empty or not. So since I given not, since I given not means if data frame is not empty, then it will go to this condition. So that means group by and aggregation. But since our df underscore empty is empty data frame. So what it does is, so up to here, what will happen? Df underscore empty dot is empty is true. So, but what we given condition not. So that means since this empty data frame, we don't have data, then it will come to else condition. In else condition, it will print like data frame is empty, skipping the aggregation. At the same time, if I pass same code. So here I'm changing the data frame df underscore data. So that means here I have data. So df underscore data is empty. So this is false. So that means if not, so since it is false, it will go to this one. So here it will go. So what it will do on top of this data frame, it will apply group by and aggregation, and you will get the result. Okay, so this is the useful method. So before applying aggregation, so how to check whether data frame is empty or non-empty. So here I showed two scenarios, how to use this one. So it is always good idea to use isEmpty option since group by is wide transformation and it consumes more shuffle. So that's all about this video. If you really like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.